Hello and welcome to the iRacing Indy Racing World Series, Music City 153 from Nashville Superspeedway. I am not Taka Timmerman, I'm DJ Fluck. I'm sitting out of this week's race, filling in for Taka, who was unavailable this week, so he asked me to sit in as a favor. So Nashville Superspeedway opened in 2001. If you noticed, IndyCar was just there recently. For their season finale, and it had not been used in several years. So looking forward to a high-speed race. We have Erik Richardson, who was our previous winner at the track, and they're out qualifying now, so let's hit the track and take a look. Let's see who we can catch out here. Derek Booker's had a rough season, to say the least. He's had several DNFs and quite a few accidents. So this has not been his season. He's just had a string of bad luck. Turn the audio from iRacing down just a smidge. Derek put in a 24 flat on his time. He's currently sitting in 6th place. And we have most everybody's qualified so far except for Eric Mattingly. I'm looking like Derek Booker may have tapped the wall on his second qualifying lap, so it looks like his lap was voided out. He'll be starting towards the back. While we're waiting, let's take a look at the current standings. Ian Miller is not quite running away with it, but he has a comfortable lead in first place over Lucas Puntarelli, currently sitting with 2 wins. Derek Booker, despite his struggles this year, is still sitting in 3rd place, followed by Erik Richardson, and Brian McKinney also tied for 4th. I'm is sitting at 6, which that's not going to help sitting up here in the booth tonight, not being in the car, so my points will not be changing this evening. Followed by Bill Colley, Eric Mattingly, and then the newcomers Greg Hammond and Mark Fish have come in and ended up missing last week's race at Long Beach. There was we'll say a scheduling error with iRacing where somehow the event was changed to 2 hours after it started, and they realized it too late. So fortunately, Greg and Mark ended up missing out last week, but they are here tonight. We are waiting for the last 30 seconds where we will take the grid. Looks like Ian Miller will be sitting on the pole tonight. While we're killing some time here. It's the 8th race in the season. We'll be heading to Kansas, and then we've got our longer race to end the season at Indianapolis here in the middle of October. So we are looking forward to that one and closing out with Indianapolis, a fan favorite. We usually have a much better attendance for the Indianapolis race. All right. Qualification is over, and we're going to meet the drivers, and we're going to go green. Track, taking the pole position. Use the rear chase camera here for that. Still waiting for a couple more drivers, and then we will get started here. I'm going to go ahead and pull Erik into the booth. Erik, it's DJ in the booth. You got a copy?
Hey, how's it going?
Good evening to you. You are starting second tonight.
Yeah, it's good to be back up on the front row. Thought I had a good lap, but Ian put down a great one.
That's been his trend this year. He's had a lot of great runs, especially recently. But what's your expectations for tonight?
Just get out, hopefully keep it clean here tonight, and see how things shake out. This could get interesting.
How do you expect tires to play into it?
Oh, that's going to be a big $100 question right there.
That I think that will be the storyline of the evening. I'm going to go ahead and throw you back into the driver chat, and good luck.
All right, thank you.
So meet the drivers real quick. We have Ian Miller starting on the pole. Erik Richardson, the number 13, will be starting second. Erik is a 8-time winner in the series, but he has not won this season. He's looking for his first win since Iowa of last season. Newcomer Greg Hammond won in his debut race at Montague. He's looking for his second win. Brian McKinney will be starting fourth. Mark Fish will be starting fifth. Derek Booker, who's also in a winless slump this season, is starting sixth. His last win was Indianapolis last season. And then Eric Mattingly will be rounding out the field. And we are about to take the green flag. So let's get up in to view here as the pace car comes off. Ian Miller brings it around, and the green flag is out, and Ian with a great jump leads the field into turn one. Greg Hammond's moved into second place, is chasing Ian Miller as Ian holds the lead for the first lap around. $115 laps tonight, and as Erik mentioned, the tire wear is going to be the key. If you time this right, you can do it on one stop for fuel, but how will your tires play in there? To the back. We got a battle between Eric Mattingly and Brian McKinney for sixth place right now. Looks like Erik will settle in there and hold that lead off. Four laps in, and Ian Miller is already 0.7 of a second, almost 0.8 of a second ahead of second place of Greg Hammond. Erik Richardson, who started second, slipped back to third behind Greg Hammond, but Erik is making a run on the outside. He doesn't quite have the move there. what to watch for. We're running 115 laps tonight. Our fuel window is going to be somewhere between about 58 and 62 laps. Obviously, cautions can play big into that. Expect this to be a one-stop race, maybe two, depending on how tire wear plays out. Usual rules of cautions, lucky dog, and a green-white checker finish are in play here. Each driver will receive one fast repair. And as we mentioned earlier, Erik Richardson is the prior winner dating back to season 2. So Erik Richardson is moving ahead of Greg Hammond for second place. And clears him. Erik is about a second behind Ian Miller right now, who continues to just cruise. Ian has just been on a tear lately. Go back to 6th place. We got a battle here with Eric Mattingly and Mark Fish. It's like Eric's put a few seconds between him and Brian McKinney, and now he's working on 5th place with Mark. Looks like Erik Richardson has actually cut the lead down to 0.8 of a second. This is one of Eric's stronger tracks, so I expect a strong performance out of him tonight. And we are just cruising right along here on lap 16 already. We're going to go ahead and we're going to turn it up and stop listening to me for a few minutes. laps complete at Nashville, and Ian Miller still holds a 1.1 second lead over Erik Richardson in second place right now. I think the most surprising thing about this event so far is just how quickly the drivers have spread apart. Just as we mentioned before, we've got 2 races left, but you're always welcome to come out and join us. Visit flracingonline.com/IRWS, and we'll prorate you into the season for the last 2. I mean, it's mostly a fun league, but we want to try to grow this and continue as we build our momentum going into Season 5 starting in January. We'll be publishing the schedule for Season 5 probably right after Thanksgiving, give you about a month notice, and our numbers have fallen a little bit this season compared to last season, but we're trying to build it up. We have 8 to 10 that regularly attend. We're trying to build that out, get that into the 15 to 20 consistently in every event. So we typically do a schedule of about 8 ovals and 2 road courses / street circuits. A lot of fun. IndyCar's license came back. We were excited. We jumped right in. We got this league going, and off we went. So it's been a lot of fun. The racing has been good. It's been clean, and it's been a good learning experience for everybody. So, grab the wrong mouse here. We are almost halfway through this first stint, and looking at Ian Miller's lost almost a full second off of his best lap, and that's about what we expected to see tonight. Through the field right now. Ian Miller currently leading. Erik Richardson chasing him in second place. Behind him is the number 66 of Greg Hammond. Close behind of the number 5 of Derek Booker. A little further back you have the number 42 of Mark Fish. The 23 of Eric Mattingly. And the number 8 of Brian McKinney in 7th. Not even driving tonight, and I'm getting warnings from my Apple Watch that my heart rate is is getting up there while resting. So, tell you what, I wish I was down there driving tonight, but I was needed to be up here. I'm filling in for Taka. Taka will be back next week from Kansas, and looking forward to having him back in the booth so I can get back in the car. We got Derek Booker chasing Greg Hammond. This has been probably the best battle this evening. You know, Derek's been stuck around 0.4 of a second for the last couple of laps. We're just flying along tonight. I'm honestly surprised we've run green this long. This is good. I'm not not criticizing the driver, but this has been entertaining. We've been all green laps. I haven't been able to do any ad reads yet, which is fine. It's there for my stuff anyway. So, lap 36, Ian Miller has led the entire way. Erik Richardson chasing him, still about 1.3 seconds behind. He's holding strong. It's basically the Ian and Erik show tonight. You can see way back there, Greg Hammond is about 5.5 seconds back of the lead. Derek's a little different of a line that time. I noticed in previous laps he was coming out of turn 4 a little bit higher, closer to the wall, and losing a little bit of time as he exited turn 4. But that time he took a little bit lower of a line and didn't lose that 0.2 of a second roughly. Still has taken that bit of a higher line in 3. Doesn't seem to be hurting him though. He's cut it down to about 0.3 of a second. Looks like he may have figured something out. We are just flying along tonight. Lap 41 already. Probably going to start seeing drivers pit in the next, I'd say probably 10 to 15 laps. We'll see how much fuel saving has been going on. Let's go on board with Derek and watch this chase. And just like that, Greg has built up a 1.1 second lead over Derek in 4th. Let's listen in on Ian Miller. Let's see if we can tell if he's fuel saving. He must be based on his times the last 10 laps or so. like Brian McKinney had a problem. He is going to pit road. I'm not sure what happened there. Nothing showing up in the event log. That's interesting. Ian Miller still holds about a 1 second lead over Erik Richardson in second place, and further back to Derek Mattingly in third, Derek Booker in fourth, Mark Fish in fifth, Eric Mattingly in sixth, and Brian McKinney appears to be off track. Looks like Ian has caught Eric Mattingly and lapped him. Looks like Eric cleanly passed Eric as well. So the key question is, when will Ian Miller come to pit road? As we said at the beginning of the broadcast, we're looking at stints of about 58 to 62 laps. Tires seem to be holding up decently well tonight. Miller to go around the 42 of Mark Fish. Looks like Derek Booker was lapped as well, but he's made his pit stop already. He's on his way back out. Eric Mattingly's on pit road. Question is, how much will Ian Miller push it? Okay, and Greg Hammond has decided to pit. Still waiting for Ian Miller to make his green flag stop. Must be coming up here soon. We are over halfway already. Not had a caution tonight, which is awesome. We've had a few caution-filled races, so to have a first half run completely green is great for the league. So Greg Hammond is exiting, coming back out. Are we going to see Ian pit? No. He continues on. So far, our two leaders, Ian Miller and Erik Richardson, are the only two who have not pitted yet. pitting yet again. He must have been fuel saving quite a bit, as he is pushing the edge of the projected fuel window already. Here comes Ian Miller finally, as he is about to complete lap 62. Assuming Erik Richardson will be following him in, and yes, he is. Yep, Erik locks up. Two of them enter the pit box. Oh, and Erik overruns his pit box. Oh, he has to back up. He'll lose about a second for that. Ian is out, is on his way. And off goes Erik Richardson. Missing his pit box. That's going to hurt. Ian Miller is back on track with probably enough fuel to get him to the end of the race. You know, that's going to hurt Erik Richardson. He is now about 4.5 seconds back. But you have Greg Hammond, Derek Booker, all back on the lead lap, all within about 10 seconds of Ian. So this is not over yet. On Stadium Scene TV this week, episodes out now of an all-new episode of FR Racing's Garage Talk. Join me and Erik Richardson as we talk about the world of motorsports. We wrap up the IndyCar season, we talk a little bit of NASCAR, talk a little bit of Formula One, and Erik gives his surprising take on fast food, which will shock you. Tune in after the race over at Stadium Scene TV or at FR Racing Online on YouTube. This is just the first Nashville race of the week. We head to Wednesday Night Dash tomorrow night. The Xfinity Series will be heading right back here to Nashville under the lights. Had a good practice last night. We had about, 8 drivers all within about 2 or 3 tenths of a second of each other. I think we're going to have a really good battle under the lights here tomorrow night. So be sure to tune in 10 p.m. Eastern right here on Stadium Scene TV for Wednesday Night Dash right back here at Nashville Superspeedway. And Erik Richardson is back in the pits. Not sure what happened there. Erik may have had a penalty on pit road. That's unfortunate. He was battling well with Ian. Had a bad pit stop and finds himself sitting in 6th place. Erik Richardson trying to chase down Greg Cameron for second. Second gap over Derek. Greg has cut into Ian's lead. Greg has cut the lead down to 6.2 seconds, so Ian must be fuel saving, trying to make it sure he can get to the end if this stays green the entire way. Mark Fish currently in 4th, who's a lap down, could really use a caution right now. He can get his lap back, get back on the lead lap, make this interesting. Let's go check out Ian Miller. As Erik's battling to try to get one of his laps back. And he did. Erik is now just 2 laps back. Derek Booker continues to chase Greg Cameron for second. And we're going to go ahead and do another segment of Turn It Up. interesting turn of events here. Greg Hammond has cut Ian's lead to 2.3 seconds. Derek is at 3.6 seconds, but the big catch here is as we are coming around on lap 87. Ian pit 7 laps later than Greg, and Derek is actually 11 laps earlier stop than Ian, and the two of them have been chasing him down. They've cut the lead to 1.5 seconds, but this is going to be tough. I mean, they're right on top of Ian Miller, but will they be able to make it to the end? Mark Fish has unlapped himself for the moment, but Ian is giving him quite a battle there. As Greg cuts it to 1.1 seconds. He's going to be right on the edge of the fuel window. Unless they get a caution here, he is sweating. I can tell you that. And 25 laps to go. I know it's the announcers, James, but we've reached lap 92 and have not seen a single caution flag tonight. Well, you can see Greg is slowly chipping away. He's down 0.8 of a second. He might be right on the edge of the fuel window. Three-tenths of a second. the chase between Ian Miller and Greg Hammond. Four-tenths of a second, that's all that separates the two of them. Take a look at Erik Richardson battling Erik Richardson battling Erik for fifth place right now. That's an important spot because that's a lucky dog. They're both 2 laps down, but caution comes out. That could change things up in a hurry. Oh, and Erik is into the grass. Just his night just keeps getting worse. We continue on under green. It'll be 10 to go. Not only is Greg Hammond chasing Ian Miller, will Greg have enough fuel? And there goes Greg Hammond into the lead. Like we said, he is going to be right on the edge of his fuel window. Ian did not put up much of a fight there. Look at that. Just made a really good run. Ian let him by. Not much of a fight from Ian. Greg Hammond is pulled to 0.8 of a second already. Come around with 6 to go. Greg could be running out of fuel anywhere between about 4 and 7 laps. So hopefully for him, it's going to be more towards the 7 laps than the 4 laps. Otherwise, this could be one of the more frustrating evenings for him. Come around to 5 to go. 4 to go. Will Greg have enough fuel? Or does Ian Miller have a late run in him? Here comes Ian Miller. Not quite ready to make a move as we got a lapped car of Erik Mattingly coming back on track. And he went 3 wide as Erik drops behind them. And there goes Ian Miller for the lead. As we come around with 2 to go. Here goes Greg Hammond for the lead. And back to Ian Miller. They are trading as we come around for the white flag. Ian Miller is pulling away. Here comes Greg Hammond, and Greg makes another move. Oh, is Ian running out of fuel? He may have run out of fuel. Will Greg make it to the start-finish line? Ian Miller has run out of fuel, and Greg Hammond is coming around and takes the win. Wow. Ian Miller ran out of fuel on the final lap. Greg Hammond comes around. Must be on fumes. As we've come around, Greg Hammond is first, Ian Miller second. Mark Fish will take third. Erik Richardson moves into fourth. Derek Booker in fifth. Erik Mattingly sixth. And Brian McKinney dropped out of the race, finishes seventh. Wow, I can't wait to get them in here for this post-race interview and see what happened. That was not what I was expecting to see. See if we can get the drivers in here and Greg Hammond going around celebrating his win. I don't know how he has enough fuel to do that. This is Greg Hammond's second win of the season and second overall in the Indy Racing World Series. And he's probably out of fuel now. All right. We are joined by Mark Fish, finishing third tonight. Mark, good evening.
Good evening. Sorry, you're by yourself today?
Good evening, Mark. Congratulations on the third place finish tonight.
Thank you. Thank you.
So it looked like fuel was the name of the game tonight. We'll get to that with Ian in a moment. What was your what was your experience on the track tonight? It seemed to be more fuel than tires.
It was a little bit of both, actually. I wasn't able to save tires on the first stint, but I was able to save enough fuel. But I meatballed it, so I had to come in a little earlier than I wanted to. And the second stint, I was able to save both fuel and tires and make it to the end.
And there was a point there where you fell a lap down, but you were able to get your lap back, and it was back and forth for a while. It was, really good battling to try to keep yourself on the lead lap, and ultimately you did finish on the lead lap tonight.
Yeah, that was pretty much my goal after he passed me. I was like, wow, we're catching him, and I guess we know why now, because he was running out of fuel.
We were watching, and we were expecting, we were looking at the stint and expecting Greg to be dangerously close to running out of fuel, and somehow he managed to save enough for the end. So, Mark,
yeah, you did a good job.
Yeah, Mark, thank you for stopping by. Do you have anyone you want to thank?
I do. I want to thank my wife and kids for going to bed early enough so I could do this every Tuesday. And if they weren't in bed early, I wouldn't be able to do this. So, thank you, Mallory. Thank you, Nate. Thank you, Drew.
As you say that, I'm being swarmed by my children. So I would be lying if I said I wasn't jealous.
Yeah, I will say, though, it was a struggle out there tonight. I struggled all night, so I'm surprised I got a podium. So thank you also to the guys that ran out of fuel to let me have this podium tonight.
So, Ian Miller, frustrating
Yes.
second place finish tonight. Running out of fuel, looked like on the last lap. Tell us about what happened out there.
To be frank, I don't really understand, because I ran long on that first stint. I was sitting at fuel map 5 for most of that stint. I ran 2 laps under fuel map 1 coming out of the pits, which was about the same as I ran on the first stint. Moved it up to fuel map 8 and even clutched into corners, sitting in 6th gear the entire time. And I still ran out of fuel, and I didn't touch the auto fueler, so it just underfueled me. So
Yeah, it looks like it did. I mean, you ran 52 laps on that stint with fuel saving, and you still didn't quite make it to the end.
I believe I ran more than halfway, at least according to, I think the
Yeah,
stat was like 56, 58.
Stats give you credit for 52 on the after coming out of the pits. So
Weird. Okay.
Yeah, a little shocking. We were completely caught off guard up here watching that. So unfortunate, still strong second place finish. Do you have anybody you want to thank?
Yeah, I'd like to thank my beautiful fiance for just being awesome as we near our wedding date rapidly, and really just her, because she's awesome.
All right, Ian Miller, second place finish tonight.
Thank you.
Tonight, Greg Hammond comes back. Greg, I have to ask you, first off, congratulations. You must have been on fumes by the time you crossed the finish line tonight.
Honestly, I was gaining fuel that whole last run because I went to fuel map 5 early on, and by the time I turned it up to 1, I had a full lap left over.
Oh, wow.
So the last 8 laps or so, I went down to 55, 60%, or 60.60 left of fuel.
So the fuel saving comes through with you. Yeah, the stats show that you went 59 laps on that stint, and we were getting a little nervous up here, but obviously we don't see the fuel map changes, so we couldn't see what you were doing down on the track. But as far as fuel saving obviously was a huge play for you. How were the tires?
Tires first stint were not too bad. I mean, I was down to 25% or something on the front right. I forgot to look the second time around, but they were probably close to the same.
Awesome. And do you have anyone you'd like to thank?
I'll thank my beautiful wife too, who's sitting in the office doing her homework right now because she's in a master's program, so she has to work and do schoolwork, and so I get to be out here racing while she's working.
I mean, isn't that the name of the game here? We all come and play, and everybody else works around us.
Yeah, when we can. You know what? I'd love to be on here more often, like a lot of people can do, but it's you know what? We get in our couple hours at the evening, and we're back to our real life. So.
Exactly. But hey, you walked away with a win tonight. I'd say you're probably pretty happy with that.
I am.
Awesome.
Thanks. You know what? Ian was totally the class of the field too. That was really unfortunate that he ran out of fuel because he just drove away from everybody.
Agreed. Yeah, Ian had a great run up until the very end. So, Greg Hammond's your winner tonight, and as we wrap up here tonight, we are going to take a look at the remaining schedule. We've got 2 more weeks left on the calendar with Kansas and then our longer Indianapolis race coming up to end the season. So if you want to come out and race with us, we'll still prorate you into the season. Head to frracingonline.com/IRWS. Get all the information about the league, and there's a registration form. Get in touch with us, and we'll get you in. You could come out and race with us on Tuesday nights if you're available. And then finally, be sure to tune in to Wednesday Night Dash tomorrow night at 10 p.m. Eastern. The Xfinity Series comes right back here to Nashville, except we'll be under the lights. We had a really good practice, as I mentioned. I think we're going to have a very close race. There's going to be a lot of good competition there, so be sure to tune in right here, Stadium Scene TV, 10 p.m. Eastern, tomorrow night. And on that note, thank you for tuning in tonight, and I promise I'm going to sit out the rest of the season out of the booth, and Taco will be back here for the last 2. Thanks again for watching. This has been the Indy Racing World Series on Stadium Scene TV.